round 6 of the European Touring Car Championship on the home of the French Grand Prix, and BMW's dominating in qualifying. Jörg ahead of Dirk Muller's first and second. Diefenbacher the best qualifying for a Seat, yet 2 BMWs behind him before the Alfa Romeos, with the youngster from Brazil, Garcia, ahead of Tarquini and Giovinardi. Rydell also qualifying strongly, as did Jorge Hene in the Seats. The Spanish Toledo's looking very quick here. Newcomer Kurt Mollikens joining Andy Prio in the Bart Mampe Racing organisation. His BMW sponsored by Luxembourg and Belgian importers. And down towards the tail of the field, the new car, the new Honda Accord from Yas Sport, joining the Honda Civic Type Rs of Tony Räikkönen and Simon Harrison in the lineup. Klaus Schwarz taking the place of his daughter Pauline, who broke her ankle and pelvis in a crash during testing at the circuit. Well, Simon Harrison not too competitive, unfortunately, in the Honda, but Andy Prio in the BMW GB Great Britain entry is going very quickly indeed. And BMW's 4 of the top 5 places. Jörg on pole, the black windscreen strip. Dirk on the right-hand side, the red windscreen strip. And there is Jorge Hene with the BMW on either side. I beg your pardon, Frank Diefenbacher. Andy Prio gets by. Antonio Garcia does not. There is Jorge Hene. Further back down the order, Ricard Rydell, the middle of the 3 Seats, and Hene getting bounced down the order. Salvatore Tavano, and there is Kurt Mollikens alongside him as somebody goes dirt tracking, and it was Diefenbacher, ran out of grip on the outside of the long right-hander, and he's dropped right down the order, and so is Andy Prio. Now, was it Prio that went out on the dirt there, David Leslie?
It looked as though Prio was right out there. We're trying to work out why he and Diefenbacher seem to have a problem, but certainly they did.
Tom Coronel in the number 20 car, the BMW with the yellow windscreen strips, and this is on board, just being passed by him, Giovinardi, and one of the Seats has got damaged, and that has got to be Diefenbacher being passed there by Rydell. Diefenbacher's gone through the gravel and ripped half the nose off the car. He'll have no grip and chronic understeer, David, just what you really don't want in a front-wheel drive touring.
No, that was certainly a very bad start. I don't know what happened there and why he was off the road, but certainly he's done a lot of damage to that car, and that car really will go not very far. It will just simply go backwards down this line, and at some point, because they've only got 15 minutes between the 2 races, he's going to have to go in and get that car repaired.
Well, I wonder if that was a clash between Diefenbacher and Prio, or whether Prio went off and Diefenbacher just did likewise. There might have been a little bit of debris down on the track, perhaps a little bit of gravel or dirt that they hadn't really noticed enough in the warm-up lap, but it's exactly that makes the warm-up lap so important, not just engineering temperature into the tyres. And here is Rydell versus Tarquini, both former British Touring Car champions. Gabrielli, of course, for Alfa Romeo, and Ricard for Volvo, now racing against each other in the European sphere. And 2 very tough competitors, David. There won't be much given or taken away between those 2.
Now you can see there they were very much trying to take each other's space coming down into that last little complex there, and no, nothing given whatsoever. If you want it, you're going to have to fight for it, but no, I'm not going to give you that piece of road at all.
Jürgen Dirk Muller leading them, 2 Schnitzer BMWs. Don't forget, Jürgen Muller won both races here last year. Let's have a look at the start. Diefenbacher in the left of the picture, being outstarted by the BMWs, other than Garcia, who had too much wheel spin off the line. Then Augusto Farfus in the first of the Alfa Romeos. And there we see Kurt Mollikens and Salvatore Michele Barcian, rather, not Salvatore Tavano, going wheel to wheel. No replay of why Andy Prio and Frank Diefenbacher went off. Clearly the cameras didn't catch that one. And there with the 10 kilos, Augusto Farfus, the other 2 Alfa Romeos with 40 kilos on board. And David Leslie, after the race last 2 weekends ago in Valencia, BMW went testing, and the Schnitzer car of Jörg Muller, when they took the 40 kilo weight penalty off, went 9/10 of a second quicker than he'd managed in race trim. So there is a big difference with that extra weight.
Yes, these cars are definitely finding a massive difference with the weight that's on there. So when BMW had the weight at the last meeting, they were soundly beaten by Alfa Romeo, and yet here with the weight off, they're the ones that are very much up front, and Alfa Romeos are very much second hand. They've got a 40 kilo weight, now they're struggling, but you know, they're giving it all they can, and they're trying to get points. At the end of the day, points make prizes in this championship, and they really need to keep on doing well just to score points. They know they're not going to be able to win the this race, the Alfa Romeos, but they do need to just keep on picking a place, the odd place, wherever they can, just to get as many points as possible towards the championship.
Yeah, Tarquini saying this weekend is all about gaining as many points as possible, making sure you finish. He's chasing Farfus and this man, Giovinardi. Tarquini's behind us as we ride with Giovinardi, chasing Tom Coronel and Antonio Garcia in the BMWs. And we'll be back with more action from Magny Cours in a second. Whoa. Whoa.
The Sports Shock Absorbers Specialist.
Round 5 of the European Touring Car Championship being dominated by the Schnitzer factory BMWs. Jürgen Dirk Müller comfortably clear of Augusto Farfus, Antonio Garcia, Gabriele Tarquini. Ricard Rydell off at the side of the road, out of that top half dozen battle. Rydell's Seat coming to a halt. Already saw Simon Harrison's Honda on the side of the track at the end of lap 1. And here is the lead battle. Jürg Müller, Dirk Müller. Jürg with 10 kilos penalty ballast for success, and Dirk Müller with a free weight in the car. Of course, these rear-wheel drive cars, David, carrying 30 kilos more than the front drive cars anyway, so they all have a bit of a weight penalty, the BMW drivers, because of their rear-wheel drive rather than the front-wheel drive of the Alphas and the rest of them.
Yes, the organisers decreed that the BMW really is that little bit quicker being rear-wheel drive, and certainly makes much better starts off the start line, and trying to equal up between the front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive. Over many years they've always been that little bit heavier, the rear-wheel drive cars, and they still are here now with the 2004 Super Racing weekends. So yes, they're a little bit heavier, but the balance between the two of them is very well sorted. That's been done over a long time, and these two cars really having a good battle between each other.
On board with Diefenbacher, and that is Stefano D'Aste, the Italian driver in his privately run BMW. Diefenbacher using a fair proportion of off-track excursion there, using the curbs. Don't forget he's knocked half his spoiler off, so he's got really no turn-in at all in this Seat. He is absolutely rock-aping this thing around. Must be so disappointed. He's gone very well indeed here in qualifying, and then to put the car off the track in the first corner, he must be livid with himself.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not very happy, but he's trying very hard, and he's just got himself inside, not quite been able to get past the BMW there, but with all that missing off the front, it's going to make a massive difference to it.
Right behind him, Andy Priaulx in the BMW GB entry, then Alex Zanardi next up. Zanardi really off the pace here this weekend. Maybe he just can't rock-ape it off the curbs quite enough. He was quick at Monza, pretty quick at Valencia, but here, where thundering over the curbs is absolutely de rigueur, maybe he's just not thumping them hard enough. His single-seater finesse is probably his undoing here. Farfus 6.5 seconds back nearly from the battle here. Jürgen Dirk Müller, and Dirk shaping up, David Leslie, though he's looking for a way past. Maybe he thinks he can be quicker than Jürg Müller.
Yes, I think these two, they're out there battling all the time at the moment, and they don't look as though they're giving much to each other. They really are racing. It's not a case of team orders. I think this early in the championship, when you've got two people right up there in front of the championship, I'm pretty sure that BMW will want them to race all the way to the finish. So I think there's a possibility of some overtaking here rather than just simply following each other. Admittedly, two teammates, very experienced. They do know the team very well, and I'm sure they will not make the mistake that some of the teams have made earlier on of trying to overtake their teammate and taking them off. So while I think that there's a possibility of some overtaking, then it won't be at the demise of the other one going into the wall or across the grass or anything.
Of course, these guys came from sharing a car together in the American Le Mans Series. They raced the V8 M3 GTR together as teammates. So not just as teammates, but actually as partners in the same car, in the two-car Schnitzer team. Before that, Jürg was racing with Schnitzer in the BMW prototype, the V12 LM, and testing for Williams for BMW. And when Jürg was at BMW then, Dirk Müller was in fact a Porsche factory driver. Started out in the Carrera Cup, raced in Super Cup, and raced for Alex Job Racing in the American Le Mans Series as well in the GT class there, the NGT class as it is in Europe. So they've got plenty of experience, as you say, racing for different factory organisations and as colleagues as well as rivals in the same team. So they are perhaps two of the least likely drivers you're going to find to knock each other off. That said, there's still a lot of pressure between the two of them, and a mistake under braking. Jürg Müller just going in a little too deep, and Dirk Müller slotting by him. Did Jörg, do you think, perhaps deliberately let him go by?
I don't think so. These guys don't deliberately do things like that. They're out there to win these races, and I'm sure that Jörg, just a little bit late on the brakes, made a little bit of a mistake, left just a small gap. It doesn't take much because, you know, there you've seen Dirk was right behind him, and he just took the opportunity. He had the slightest opportunity. There he was late in turning in. I'll have it, thank you very much. In there, and then out and using all the road and squeezing Jörg out on the outside, so he has to fall in behind.
See now, just possibly Jörg let him go and thought, right, if you're that quick, let's see what you've got. Or even better, if you're that quick, you be the front runner, tow me around and let's both go quicker. We'll wait and see how it pans out. We'll be back with more in just a second.
With LG, life's good.
Round 5 of the European Touring Car Championship at Magny Cours. This is the battle behind the top group. Antonio Garcia holding off Gabriele Tarquini. Augusto Farfus Jr. just easing away. And here is our leader. Took the lead on the last lap, Dirk Müller from Jörg Müller, who has led from pole position. The two Schnitzer BMWs, BMW Deutschland cars, running first and second in qualifying. Antonio Garcia fifth on the grid, and Andy Prio from fourth on the grid, not having the best of races. Augusto Farfus got by them in the confusion at the start. Garcia not getting away quickly, and Andy Prio running out of road. He's coming back up the order inside the top 10 now and looking to score points. But for Prio, a race that promised a lot more with a fourth place start with a front drive Seat alongside him. He should be in third now, not finding his way back up from the bottom of the top 10. Antonio Garcia then in between the two lead Alphas, and here is the lead BMW pair. You can see, David, just how far away they've gone.
Yes, we were saying about them fighting each other. They're fighting each other, but they're still managing to pull away from the rest of the field. They're some 7 seconds or approximately ahead of the rest of the field now. And they've got this race all to themselves, and they look as though they're fairly settled at the moment with Dirk in the lead, and unless he makes a mistake, which I can't think he will, like Jörg did, then I think this is the way they will run towards the finish.
So feeling now as the Alfa Romeo drivers must have felt in Valencia, where they were just romping away. 1 lap to go, last lap then of the race, and Dirk Müller with Jörg Müller behind him. And Dirk with a little bit less weight, dived down the inside of the Adelaide hairpin a couple of laps ago and leading them around. There's Gabriele Tarquini still in 5th place with Antonio Garcia in 4th. I think perhaps Antonio Garcia is still breakable, but Gabriele not quite close enough. He's going to have to do something really desperate, and that's not the mark of Tarquini, not on the last lap where there's still another race to go. So down to Adelaide again, Dirk Müller safely in, safely out, Jörg Müller behind him, chasing across the curbs. And this is the second group, Farfus, Garcia and Tarquini. Is it my imagination? Is it the foreshortening effect? Has Tarquini got a little closer? Let's have a look as they run out of the Adelaide hairpin up through the Nürburgring chicane. It's a quick 3rd, 4th gear chicane, depending on your gearing. No, I don't think he's close enough unless Garcia makes a mistake. I think Gabriele is just too far out of shooting range. Simon Harrison's Honda stuck on the inside at 180. That means he's unlikely to start the second race either, unless the team can fix whatever it was in the 10 minutes between the two races. It'll have to be a trifling insignificance, like a silly electrical cut-off or something like that. But it seems unlikely.
So there we see Dirk coming down. He's just stretched that lead out to about a second and a half. And those two have had a really good race. They got away at the very beginning, right off the start line, with a good start, and they've been able to control the race right from the front. And a little bit of a slide, a couple of black lines laid down just to cross the line and make it look good for everybody else. But very convincing win for BMW, just as Alfa Romeo had that convincing win at the last meeting.
Jörg Müller's wife on the shoulders of one of the Schnitzer boys, waving to him as he went across the line. Now Jörg gesticulating there at Dirk. I don't know if that was a thumbs up and a wave or a tap on the helmet. What did you think you were doing? There didn't seem to be any problems with it at all. And Dirk Müller wins race 1 here in Magny Cours. So, 2 years ago, Fabrizio Giovanardi won the first and the second race. Last year it was Jörg Müller who won the first and the second race. This year Dirk Muller's won race 1. Will he win race 2? He'll start from 8th on the grid with Andy Priaulx starting from pole in the reverse top 8. There's a chance for Priaulx to grab his first win of the year. Further down you can see the rest of the finishers. Klaus Zwart, last man across the line, and we lost some 7-8 cars during the course of that race. We'll be back in a second.